offers him some protection. The only problem was he couldn't see through it, Sandy.
Well, I think you maybe needed tonight, Rob, with the Hartson and Sutton both playing for Celtic. The one thing's for certain, any balls that come into the Stuttgart box, they're going to be attacked by the big two up front. That lad there, they'll have to make sure that mass is in the right place tonight.
Jan Wegerer from Holland is the referee, who made a little bit of history in the World Cup last summer. He handled the match between Senegal and Uruguay. I was actually at that match as well, and it was a tough one to keep track of the bookings. He set a new world record of 12 yellow cards. That's Felix Magath, the coach of Stuttgart. Used to be known as the firefighter because he was brought into troubled clubs to turn them around. But he's been in charge of Stuttgart now for just over 2 years, and it's his longest coaching stint. And he really is beginning to get somewhere with this Stuttgart side, which at the moment are just a point off second spot in the Bundesliga. Martin O'Neill's 26th European tie as Celtic manager. And back on the touchline where he wants to be, of course, closer to the action, having watched the 3-1 victory at Celtic Park last Thursday night from the stand. Part 1 ended 3-1. This is the start of Part 2. And can Celtic do what they failed to do in Basel in the qualifier for the Champions League and hold on to their 2-goal advantage and progress to the last 8 of this competition? It's a big question, and Kevin Kurani there is a big threat to them, and I think it'll be interesting to see how he performs tonight alongside Amanatidis, because those two together, Sandy, looked a real threat in the first game, and it was a big boost, I think, to Celtic that the Greek striker had to be taken off. When it was 11v11, the front two for Stuttgart looked exceptionally good in the early part of the game at Celtic Park. That man, young Kevin Kuriani, he was exceptional that night, and I'm sure with Amanatidis up beside him, he'll be even more dangerous. Here's Ulrich Larsson back in the side, left out 7 days ago, but restored to that left side position in the 3-man Celtic defence. And the other change, of course, as Paul told you at the top of the programme, was John Hartson's return in place of Sean Maloney on the bench. Rob Douglas still well short of 100% fitness. He was rushed back for the first leg after 2 months out, injured, during which he had a double hernia operation. But he wasn't really tested, Douglas, in the first game, apart from having to pick the ball out of the net from Kurani's header. He wasn't, that's for certain, at Celtic Park, but tonight Big Rab will have to be on his toes. He's a good goalkeeper, he's got lots of experience, but he's going to have to work harder tonight, I'm sure. Alexander Gleb's pass, skidding away from Balakov. That's Andreas Hinkel with the throw, one of 5 under-21s in the Stuttgart side. So important that Celtic start well. And that's the first threat down the right-hand side from Christian Tippert, the 21-year-old. He was part of the German future team, which drew with the Scottish equivalent. And a free kick conceded by Alan Thompson. Young Christian Tippert weren't too sure where he was going to play tonight, whether he was going to play midfield or almost as a right winger. He's just won a free kick down the right-hand side. The first set-piece question to be asked of Celtic. In by Balakov, not one of his better efforts, and Neil Lennon was able to head that away. Played by Hinkel to Amanatidis, and the backtracking was done pretty effectively there by Didier Agathe. Alexander Gleb, the Belarus international. The right back Hinkel, and this new central defensive partnership of Dangelmeyer and Wenzel. Larsson's challenge, and it's over at Larsson again, who panicked. Wasn't a great clearance. Here's an opportunity for Stuttgart. That's a brilliant header by Valharen, which saves Celtic. 4 minutes gone.
He had to get there. It was a marvellous header, so important.
Good run from Glad, and again it's Valharen in the way.
He started there, Rob, with Ulrich Larsson panicking just a little bit at the back, giving the ball away.
Andreas Hinkel with the shot. Good strike, and not too far away. And it's a hot start from Stuttgart.
It's a good start from the home club's point of view. Hinkel here, lots of time and space, that's the worrying aspect. Hearts and Sutton nowhere near it to close them down. Lots of time to get the shot. Luckily for Celtic, not on target.
These Stuttgart fans reckon it could be their name which appears in the quarter-finals of the competition against either Liverpool or Reserve. 2-0 is the type of result Stuttgart are looking for. Good running from Alexander Glad, but the pass was played beyond him.
Celtic are playing just a little bit deep for me, Rob. They can't get out their own half at the moment. No real pressure from the Germans, but they really can't get hold of the ball. They can't keep possession and try and play further up the field.
Amenatidis with the pass, which was too pacey. Good hold up there on Sutton. Led on to Larsson. Alan Thompson, Celtic's first attack. John Hartson's knocked down, and hints there of the indecision at the heart of the Stuttgart defence.
It's the first time Celtic have got forward, just what we expected. Alan Thompson getting a bit of space wide left. First thought in his mind, play a high ball into the box to try and trouble the two young central defenders.
Andreas Hinkel into Kevin Kurani, and from Soldo back to Hinkel. Well, that was good running from Christian Tippert, and he's won Stuttgart a corner kick off Larsson.
He's been impressive, Rob. He's been involved in the game quite a bit down this right hand side, Tippert, and worked hard there to get the corner kick.
Stuttgart, having got some pressure on, try to keep it on. Balakov's corner kick, that's poor marking from Celtic, and what an opportunity for Stefan Dangelmeyer.
That was a real chance, poor marking inside the box. It's a simple corner kick. Dangelmeyer acres of space, and luckily for Celtic, it's a very poor header. No real confidence about it, skipped off his head more than anything else, and luckily for Celtic, not on target.
He peeled away there, Dangelmeyer. He must have been surprised to have found no Celtic player matching his movement. That's an offside against John Hartson.
It's the second time he's been caught offside the early part of the game. He's got to concentrate and keep onside. He's experienced enough to handle that, recognise the situation.
That's a Celtic throw out of Tiffert. Scored a couple of goals against Ventspils, the Estonian team, in the first round of this competition. Hasn't had too many top team opportunities, Christian Tiffert. Good challenge from Zvonimir Soldo against Chris Sutton. Back to Timo Hildebrand. Alexander Gleb played up to the feet of Amanatidis, and he's there for the return pass. That's good backtracking from Paul Lambert, good reading of the game as well, cutting that out. Unconvincing was the Rob Douglas clearance.
Paul Lambert looks nice and sharp early part of the game. Played exceptionally well last week, no question about his fitness and his ability to get about the park. And that's a good sign from Martin O'Neill tonight.
Valharan, Agat, Lennon. Lambert's lucky that layoff found its way through. Celtic still trying to settle themselves after a strong start by Stuttgart. Dangelmeyer launches it up for Amanatidis, but no chance there of winning the aerial ball against Jos Valharan. That's out off the veteran Croatian Soldo. He's retired from international football, having won 59 caps. He's the sitting midfield player, aiming to protect the back four, and it might need some protection.
Hopefully. Celtic haven't managed to get any decent service up to the strikers so far in the game, but it's a chance here for Hartson.
Chris Sutton, unlucky there.
As I was saying there, Rob, it's important the front two for Celtic. They've got to get the right delivery tonight. Both players are very, very good back to goal, very experienced, should be able to hold the ball up for guys like Petrov, Agat and Thompson to get there and support them. But it all starts with the initial ball to them.
Ten minutes gone in the Gottlieb Daimler Stadium. A 50,000 sellout. Kurani, Tiffert. That's not a good cross. Well away from Amanatidis, and a comfortable catch for Rob Douglas.
Easy one for the goalkeeper. It was a bad mistake from Alan Thompson though. He's having to play almost left back the way that Tiffert's playing.
That's a mistake by Dangelmeyer. In goes John Hartson. Out comes Hildebrand. Sutton and Hartson trying to soften up this new central defensive partnership, and already producing some errors.
If anybody can do it, those two certainly can. They're more than capable of softening up any defence.
Hinkle down the line for Kurani. Played away first time by Larson. Petrov for Sutton. Dangelmeyer was stretching to fight it down to Amanatidis. And now Balikov, the creator in the midfield, the veteran Bulgarian. Gleb's run, halted, great challenge by Paul Lambert. Carrying out his defensive duties to perfection there, Lambert. He was outstanding in the first leg, and he's opened up well here.
He started really well. It's a free kick there. Didier Agat clearly getting pulled back the way. But Glebe in that left-hand side, almost in Paul Lambert's area. He looks a good player for me. He looks very dangerous going forward, and it's nice to see Paul Lambert's capable of matching him back the way.
Sutton's header. John Hartson against Wenzel. It's played wide for Agat. Three in the box for the cross. One is Hartson. Another is Alan Thompson, who heads Celtic in front. 12 minutes gone, and that could be the goal that points Celtic towards the quarter-finals.
It's a brilliant goal from Celtic's point of view. It's the first real attack. Good play from John Hartson initially to get the ball wide to Didier Agat. And we said about the Celtic power near. We see Agat getting the ball wide here from Hartson. Alan Thompson, he's pushed straight up. There's a touch on here as Chris Sutton, I think John Hartson gets a touch to it. Thompson staying onside, getting beyond the defender. And it's a great header across the goalkeeper, giving him absolutely no chance.
Similar to Kurani's header in the first game, in that Thompson got across Tiffert, and the header was angled perfectly away from Hildebrand.
Alan Thompson does exceptionally well to stay onside. Hartson clearly touches the ball before Thompson goes beyond the young midfielder. It's a great start for Celtic.
Alan Thompson's fourth goal of the season. How important is that one? How much could that goal be worth to Celtic, who hope that they're now heading towards the last stage of the UEFA Cup, and in terms of a compensation package, having failed to make the Champions League. It's getting better all the time.
Now it takes 4 goals from Stuttgart to beat Celtic, and that's a big target for any team. But you've also got the fact that Celtic should now be so confident they should be able to make sure they defend properly, concentrate, keep it nice and simple, and basically try and kill the game for the next 15 minutes or so.
Andreas Hinkel, Christian Tifferts. Across comes Bobo Balde, helped out by Ole Larsson. And the big worry for the Celtic fans, buoyed by the 3 goals in the first leg, and for Martin O'Neill as well, was that away goal from Kurani. And what Celtic have done is cancelled out that threat now, and it's a 4-1 overall advantage. Hinkel's pass, Amanatidis can't get past Bobo Balde. That was cool from Thompson. Lambert to Hartson. And already John Hartson has justified his recall to the side with the header which set up Thompson for that golden goal. Didier Agat powers his way to the byline, and Chris Sutton makes it 2. 2 goals in 3 minutes, and Celtic are cruising.
It's magnificent from Celtic. You see the smile on that man's face. It's a simple tap in, but it's all about the build-up. It's all about the pace of Didier Agat down that right-hand side. John Hartson again involved, showing lots of experience, holding on to the ball. Still in Petrov has actually made a very good run earlier, but it was offside, couldn't play the ball to him, and that man there, he's got to be really down now. But if you want to hear, Didier Agat just shows the defender a clean pair of heels. He realises, he knows he's got the pace to beat him. It's a great ball across the box. Chris Sutton makes a great run, makes it simple for Agat. Agat makes it simpler for Sutton. The Celtic are cruising.
He was really motoring with Didier Agat, and he got the cut back absolutely perfect beyond Hildebrand, and it was an easy finish for Sutton for goal number 17 of the season, and it's just the 5 goals that Stuttgart need now.
I think another factor is the home crowd are absolutely silent. Can't say that about the Celtic fans there in Wonderland almost. There's got to be a line there somewhere.
The Celtic supporters couldn't have dreamed of a start like this. 5-1 up, and they've gone quiet. Malakov's free kick deflected towards Hinkel. Good drive, good save. An offside flag was up in any case, but a terrific stop this from Rob Douglas. He wasn't to know there was an offside, and for a goalkeeper who's not 100% fit, those were pretty quick reactions.
It's an unbelievable save. I think actually it was off a Celtic defender more than anything else, so I don't see where the offside comes into it. He maybe was offside when the ball come back out the way, but Rob Douglas has been out for a long time. He's not 100% fit, but I tell you what, he looked 100% fit there.
I think when the shot's fired in from outside the box, Sandy, I think that's when the Stuttgart offside applies. The flag was certainly up quickly. That won't do Rob Douglas's confidence any harm. And I spoke about the justification for the recall of John Hartson, and well, he's been involved in both goals.
Well, I think it was a simple one for Martin O'Neill to make. Sean Maloney played exceptionally well last week. He will be a real good player for Celtic the longer his career goes on at Celtic Park. But John Hartson, it's all about just now at this moment in time. He's such an experienced player. He's managed to do it so often for his country in away European ties, etc. And he's shown it here again tonight.
If you've just switched on and you're looking at the top corner of the screen and you can't quite believe the scoreline, it's true. Thompson and Sutton for Celtic, a 2-goal lead, and it's 5-1 on aggregates. And if Balakov looks stunned, he is.
This is actually his 3rd free kick, Rob, in the early part of the match, and his first 2 were poor deliveries. Somebody of his talent, his ability, it's got to be a better ball in the box.
It's in from Balakov. John Hartson chests it down and drives it clear, although he might just have let it go. Amanatidis keeps himself onside. Tried to loft it in for Kurani. Jos Verhaeren in the way. Krasimir Balakov. Alexander Gleb sprinting beyond Lambert. The poor ball in. Fails to get it past Jos Verhaeren. Heiko Gerber, the left back. Gleb's cross. Headed in by Tiffert, away by Baldi. Andreas Hinkel, that's good running. And Alan Thompson prods it behind. Corner kick.
It's good defending from Celtic from their point of view. Hinkel willing to have a go, running at them inside the box, but lots of yellow and green jerseys round about him, giving them no space to get the ball in the box.
Balakov's in swinging corner kick, and it's take two on the corner. Ulrik Larsson at the near post. Balakov's cross, Soldo was there. In from Wenzel, headed away by Petrov. That's Thompson and Sutton, and now a Gat. That searing pace, which was too hot to handle on the second goal.
It's a tremendous asset.
The way things are going, maybe he wants the eyes blocked out on that nose guard as well.
I think he's got it the wrong way around, the way things are happening so far. But great start from Celtic's point of view. But I think you've got to remember, Rob, early part of the game, the header from Jos Verhaeren at the back post. The first goal was always going to be vital. He certainly prevented that then.
If that goes in, Stuttgart get a lift, and as happened, Verhaeren defended that well. Celtic went up the pitch. Alan Thompson headed in, and it's now a different ball game. John Hartson, good shots. Difficult one for Hildebrand. Held off Dangelmeyer, and it was an awkward angled shot, and Felix Magat's team under real pressure.
Great play from John Hartson. Dangelmeyer, the young centre-back, came on as substitute in the first game at Celtic Park. John Hartson just knocked him out the road. Just wouldn't allow him anywhere near the ball. He's saying, it's my ball, I'm keeping it, I'm going to have a shot. And knocked him out the road as if he wasn't there. He's a good player.
John Hartson, who scored for Arsenal in the 1995 Cup Winners' Cup final. Thompson's pass goes astray. Dangelmeyer back to Hildebrand, beaten twice already in the opening 21.5 minutes. Stuttgart 0, Celtic 2, 5-1 on aggregate. Remember, we're running a man of the match competition as ever, 1-900 10 200 25, and you could win a free view Digibox, access to all the latest digital television channels if your choice agrees with Sandy's. That's the man of the match competition. Kurani's layoff. Alexander Gleb, and that was good work again defensively from Paul Lambert, not allowing Gleb to get a look at a shot at goal. Here's Balakov, 37 next month. He'll be the Stuttgart assistant coach next season. Gerber's throw. Now the cross. Baldi in the way. Did that cross the line?
The home fans certainly thought it did.
To the dismay of the Stuttgart supporters, the assistant, looking along the line, kept his flag where it was.
It's almost a surreal situation at the moment for Celtic. Martin O'Neill, I'm sure he'll make sure his players have to continue to work hard, but the game looks as if it's over. But it's so important as professional footballers to concentrate and do their jobs properly. No mistakes, don't let anybody point the finger at them now.
Paul Lambert retaining possession, and glum just about covers it for the looks on the faces of the Stuttgart fans, and a sharp contrast when you scan around the ground and look at the thousands of Celtic supporters who are loving every minute of this, and well might they look forward to a place in the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup. The job's still to be finished, but well, 5-1 seems a pretty handy advantage.
It's a hard task for the Germans, no question about that, but you give Celtic credit for starting the game as well. And we spoke about Kevin Kurani after the first leg. I thought he was exceptional. We haven't mentioned him tonight. Celtic have snuffed him out.
There he is.
Sod's law.
The 20-year-old Kurani knocking on the door of the German senior side. Gleb's pass. Amanatidis. Alexander Gleb again. Here's a chance. What a challenge. Ulrich Larsson this time. And just as Celtic are taking their chances at one end, they're defending very impressively at the other, and Martin O'Neill will be impressed.
You'll be concerned though that Alexander Gleb, the amount of space he's getting down that left-hand side, sorry, for Stuttgart.
Hinkle, good challenge. Alan Thompson timed it well and fires it away.
I mentioned there Rob Alexander Gleb down that left-hand side. He's a decent player. He's very, very quick. He's the one that looks as if he could spark Stuttgart, no question about that.
There's a nice shot of the two managers. Formation coaches almost on the touchline. Felix Magath with Martin O'Neill behind him. Both European Cup winners as players. And Celtic have shattered a record tonight, never having scored before in Germany. In 6 attempts spanning 27 years, they've scored not one but two. Alan Thompson and Chris Sutton have Celtic heading onwards in this UEFA Cup competition. And suddenly the disappointment of losing to Basel and failing to get to the Champions League becomes something of a memory. Balakov, no way through. Even his genius on the ball is having little effect here.
See the way Celtic are playing, Rob. They're defending almost across the 18-yard box at times, the 5 across the back, and Chris Sutton's actually working back into midfield as well, leaving John Hartson up the field on his own, allowing the Germans possession for 2/3 of the field. But there's just no space, no room for the Germans to play once they get into the danger area.
Here's Gleb. Hinkle. And a breakdown in communication with Gerber. Hinkle, who'd deserted his right back berth, popped up at inside left. I think that's what it used to be called, wasn't it, Sandy, in your days?
I can't remember, but just watching there, Gerber, the left back, he was up against Didier Agathe. The ball was the right ball from Hinkle to play into the corner flag for the forward to run, get beyond the defender. But I think when Gerber seen it was Didier Agathe, he thought, there's no point in me going there, I've no chance.
Hartson's header. That's Lennon. Petrov flicks it on. Soldo to Gleb. Balakov with Neil Lennon doing the marking job. Here's Dangelmeyer at fault in the first leg. And the central defensive pairing has predictably here been put under real pressure. What surprised me, Sandy, was that the weekend in the Bundesliga, Magath went with the same central defensive pairing as played at Celtic Park, which meant they didn't even get a chance to try out these two together.
Yeah, and this game is so important to them financially, to both clubs financially. But you feel when Celtic go forward, Rob, Sutton and Hartson against the two inexperienced players, they look so threatening, so dangerous.
And when you look at the quality of this performance, Celtic are playing a side, I said they're third, just off second in the Bundesliga. They won 4-0 against Borussia Mönchengladbach at the weekend. They've won 5 out of their last 6 games in the German league. Celtic well on top. Hildebrand. Timo Wenzel.
I just wonder, Rob, what would happen if Celtic would press the game just a little bit further up the park. I know they don't have to go and press the game and try and get another goal, but John Hartson's up front on his own so often that with inexperienced players at the back, if you leave them on the ball and then press them quickly. You just wonder if Celtic could win the ball back further up the field.
Gerber had to hurry, put under pressure by Didier Agathe and forced him into a mistake. Celtic have possession. And you get the feeling there's going to be a whale of a party in Stuttgart tonight.
Are we going?
I think we'll be there. That's a goal kick, much to Didier Agathe's dismay.
That looked a corner kick from here. Didier Agathe thought it was a corner kick.
Remember, more live football coming your way on Sunday. It's Livingston against Rangers this Sunday afternoon from 2:25, and that will also include highlights of Celtic's match against Hibs at the weekend, in addition to all the other Premier League football. It's the only place for Premier League football. Scottish international action and the best of Europe as well. John Hartson. Almost through was Paul Lambert. I gather that you've lost pictures for the moment, so we'll try and keep you up to date with what's happening. In fact, the pictures weren't missing for too long, so you're spared a radio commentary from us. No one deserves that. Balakov's pass. Hinkle forces his way on. Good run from Andreas Hinkle away from Balde. Well, the build-up was great. The fresh air shot wasn't. He's looking for a penalty, but he'll have to go on looking.
There's no way it's a penalty kick. He's missed the ball. Bobo Balde's closed him down. Martin will be a little bit disappointed in the fact that Hinkle's got through so many bodies so easily, but there's no contact here whatsoever. He's just missed his kick. We're talking about the bobbly pitch, so maybe he'll blame that one, but there's no way it's a penalty kick.
Boy, was his face red, and I think that explained the reaction. Did Alan Thompson catch his heel?
Just when I seen that one there, Alan Thompson might just have fractionally touched him at the end. Bobo Balde certainly didn't make any contact.
Cillian Petrov hurt there. And he's not looking for treatment. Looked to be caught on the arm. Well, it would be wrong to say it's all going according to plan for Martin O'Neill. This must be way ahead of schedule.
I think Martin was confident enough his team could get a goal away from home, but to get two so early, certainly a massive bonus.
Hartson. Thompson. That's Dangelmeyer. Headed in field by Tiffert. Now Hinkle. Gleb. Good pass for Kurani, and excellent defending from Ulrich Laursen. I spoke about the justification for the recall of Hartson, and Ulrich Laursen is having an outstanding first half as well.
He's played very well, like all the Celtic players first half, and Jackie McNamara played in that position last week. But again, you can understand Martin O'Neill's thinking. Larsen's certainly more of a defender than Jackie. Jackie's probably a better footballer, a better possession of the ball. But this type of game tonight, you have to make sure you defend well. And no matter what that man, Magath, does there, he's getting no joy whatsoever tonight.
The pained expression on the face of Felix Magath. He knows Stuttgart have to score 5 times if they're to deny Celtic their place in the UEFA Cup quarter-finals. Possession lost by Lambert for once. But that's poor distribution from Wenzel. Hands it back to Celtic. Petrov keeps it for Lennon. Laursen to Thompson, whose header got Celtic off to the best possible start. Stefan Dangelmeyer's throw. Tiffert plays it in field. In goes Petrov against Balakov. The two Bulgarians at the opposite ends of the age scale, and Petrov seen in Bulgaria as the heir apparent. Here's the old master, Balakov. Gets it back, or hoped he would get it back from Kurani, but the young striker kept out. Alan Thompson launches it downfield.
It was the wrong option from Alan Thompson. Sutton and Hartson both came short looking for the ball into feet. Thompson didn't look. look for the long ball over the top.
Gleb's pass to Berger, but he can't shift Didier Agat. Lambert and Lennon combine. Celtic being a bit over elaborate on the ball. Kurani pushes it through for Amanatidis. That's off Lennon. In fact, it must have taken its last touch off the Greek striker because it's a goal kick.
I think it was just a bad ball in the box. Amanatidis had a little bit of space to try and hook the ball with his left foot back into the box, but couldn't wrap his foot around it. That man there said a good night so far. One excellent save, although the flag was up. But his kicking's been good, he looks confident, and his centre looks fit enough.
And the defending has been good in front of him, with Valharan and Laursen making particularly important stops and interventions. Chris Sutton, scorer of goal number 2 here. Balde, Laursen had to hurry. Now it's Kurani, managing to hurdle the challenge of Lambert. But it's just not happening for Stuttgart. They're flattened by the 2 Celtic goals, and the confidence is drained from them. They needed the early goal, that was their plan. It was not expected that Celtic would strike early, and they've done it twice.
Celtic are playing with so much confidence now as well. They're happy to pass the ball about. I don't think the surface is the best in the world. It's a little bit bobbly. I think it's making some of the passing on the ground a little bit dangerous. The Celtic have certainly handled it much better than the Germans.
I spoke at the start about top away performances from Celtic this season. In addition to their superb home record, there was Ewood Park and the 2-0 win against Blackburn Rovers away from home. There was a 2-1 defeat in Vigo, but it was the result that Celtic wanted. Hartson's away goal got them through against one of La Liga's top teams. And remember, they're in action here against the 3rd team in the Bundesliga. Thompson, Petrov, left by Lambert for Agat. This time he's stopped from getting around the back by Heiko Gerber. He was well warned in the first game, of course, about Agat's pace. And it was that pace which brought about Celtic's 2nd goal in Stuttgart. Lambert and Agat. And let's try again.
Celtic are playing the game the right way. There's no need for them to chase the game now to really put the Germans under a lot of pressure. It's more important to keep a hold of the ball when they get it.
That's poor, and that just typifies what we're talking about in terms of what the Celtic goals have done to the Stuttgart performance.
Confidence is such a big part of football, no question. The first goal in any game is always vitally important. Celtic have got it tonight. They worked hard to get it. They worked hard to get the second one. And because they're now playing with lots of confidence, lots of belief, whereas the Germans are they're going through the motions, but they've got absolutely no belief that they're going to get back in this match.
Celtic have a problem with Alan Thompson, who's on the ground and in a fair bit of pain as Balde clears. Gerber's cross, and Christian Tiffert pulls a goal back for Stuttgart. I wonder if Celtic lost concentration there.
I think it's more the fact they lost Alan Thompson. It's Tiffert, Alan Thompson's playing in his area. The ball's out the far end. Celtic should have had the ball out the park. They didn't get it out the park. It's a pure clearance here from Bobo Balde. And you can see Tiffert there standing on the zone. That's where Alan Thompson should be. Laursen and Douglas can't get there. It's a free header for the youngster at the back post. But it's simply because Alan Thompson's off the field of play.
Rob Douglas with no chance of keeping it out. He was left horribly exposed. And Tiffert taking advantage of that temporary one-man advantage to head in a goal, which shouldn't dramatically change things, but it might just lift the level of performance from Stuttgart, who've struggled to recover from Celtic's double strike early on.
It's so against the run of play. That's the disappointing thing. And you're right what you say there, Rob. The fans have got a little bit of a lift. Pride comes into play as well. Stuttgart won't want to lose the game at home. They might think there's too much work to be done to qualify, but they'll certainly be working hard to try and get back in this match before half-time. You see it there, it's a free header.
Would you be looking for one of the strikers to have come back and filled in with Thompson off the pitch?
You're actually looking for Bobo Balde to put the ball out the field of play. It's a poor clearance from his point of view, and if it's out the field of play, you then get time to regroup, pull somebody back into that area and make sure you don't lose anything. That's where it all went wrong. They maybe, players maybe weren't aware that Thompson was off the field, but they should have been. If the ball went out the park, they would have been able to regroup.
Tiffert's third goal of the season. All of them have come in this UEFA Cup competition, and the 21-year-old lifts spirits somewhat for Stuttgart, although they are still 2-1 down in the night, and they are still 5-2 down overall.
Alan Thompson's still struggling a bit, Rob. I'm watching him there, he's in the left-back position, he's hobbling just a bit. I'm sure it's one that the Celtic medical staff will have to have a look at.
Steve Guppy's on the bench, that's certainly an option. Sutton in for Petrov, and Paul Lambert's shot is deflected behind.
Great play from Celtic going forward. Chris Sutton again showing lots of experience, holding the ball up, looking for the run from Petrov, and good support play from Paul Lambert. It's really unfortunate, similar area to the goal he scored last week at Celtic Park, but this time blocked from by the defender.
It was Hinkle who got in the way of the Lambert shot. Lambert's corner, 5 minutes from half-time. Balde's header taken by Timo Hildebrand. And one of the Stuttgart players still down.
It looks a head knock, I can't believe they're playing on. It's a yellow card.
It's a booking for Balakov.
There's a late tackle in Bobo Balde. There's a corner kick from Celtic for Celtic. Bobo Balde's up for the corner kick. He was involved in a challenge inside the box. As the Germans broke clear, Bobo Balde was working back the way, and Balakov certainly late with the tackle. We'll see it here.
Brave referee to book the local hero, but it was a bit of a cruncher.
It's a bad tackle. It's a tackle from behind. That's the type of tackle that can cause injury.
Gerber, Gleb, and Heiko Gerber can get it clear now, but that's not the best, is it? Straight to Neil Lennon. And Agat settles for the throw. Just about 3.5 minutes left of the first 45. Stuttgart 1, Celtic 2. Still untidy, a lot of the Stuttgart play, but credit to Celtic for what they've done to the German side, having withheld some early pressure, Celtic, as Stuttgart pushed forward. Those were two big blows struck by Thompson and Sutton, and again possession being relinquished by the home team.
It's been a great first half from Celtic's point of view, but I just feel, Rob, at times you look at the German team, there's no question the weakest part of their team's at the back, and I think they're giving them too much time and space on the ball there. I would like to see them press the game just a little bit further up the park to make sure the game's played in the German half, and if that happens, I'm pretty certain Celtic will create lots more chances.
Soldo, Balakov. Support comes from Hinkle. Well, that's a desperate cross, isn't it?
It's a poor cross, no question about that. You can see there the pitch isn't the best, but I don't think there's any excuse for that one. Just leaning back too much on the ball.
He's just 20, Hinkle, 11 years at Stuttgart. So they start them young here and bring them through the ranks. And he's now part of the German under-21 and the future team as well.
He actually looks a decent player going forward.
Hinkle and Tiffert and Kurani all part of the future as far as the German national team goes. Building a team for 2006.
It's a strange mix of the German team when you look at so many young players, and then you've got the other scale, you've got Balakov and Soldo, who are certainly getting towards the end of their career. think it's a sign at times that the club are financially under pressure.
Yeah, 5 under 21s, 2 over 35s. Laurissen's free kick, headed away by Dangelmeyer. Onto it, Balikov. A neat flick back to Soldo. Gerber was fouled by Agat. Celtic in Europe beyond the turn of the year for the first time in 23 years. Prior to this, it was 1980 when they lost to Real Madrid in the quarter-finals of the European Cup. But the record books being rewritten, and of course, for the first time ever, they've scored in Germany in a European tie. They've done it twice. (5-2) is the aggregate score. 2-1 Celtic on the night. Gleb pushing forward, but no great communication between Gleb and Kurani. But it's a mistake by Valhaeren, which now sets up Balikov. What a chance that was! Celtic slack and should have been punished.
The sloppy defending, to say the least, in Balikov. That was a chance. You would expect him to have a better finish than this. He's got tons of space and room. He would look to hit the target there.
He was trying to guide it into the top corner, and the reaction tells everything. It was a terrific opportunity, and you would expect him to put 99 out of 100 in the back of the net.
He was also leaning back the way, Rob. That's what put the momentum onto the ball to take it over the bar. The Celtic have to concentrate to that end. The game's not over yet.
45 minutes played, 1 to be added. And a very satisfactory situation to take into the away dressing room for the half-time interval. But Celtic must maintain their concentration. They must keep things tight at the back, because there have been 1 or 2 chances for Stuttgart, in addition to the header which Tiffert put in beyond Rob Douglas. We'll find out later if it's to be Liverpool or Auxerre in the quarter-finals of the competition. I don't think we'd be pushing the boat out to say it's looking like Celtic.
Go and gamble.
Half-time in the Gottlieb Daimler Stadium, and Martin O'Neill has got to be well satisfied with that first half. 2 early goals. John Hart, a campaign in this UEFA Cup for Celtic, beating a top 10 English Premiership side in Blackburn, a top 5 La Liga team in Celta Vigo, and now top 3 in the Bundesliga. Stuttgart heading for the exit door, but they'll give it their best shot in the second half, and they will bring on the Romanian Ganea up front in the search for goals. They need 4 if they're to deny Celtic, and that, of course, on the basis that Celtic don't score again. So it's Viorel Ganea, 32 times capped by Romania. He's scored 10 goals this season, and his 7 goals in the Bundesliga have all been scored coming off the bench. So he has a pretty impressive record as a sub. It's 2-1 Celtic in Stuttgart. It's 5-2 overall. And yes, the Germans need 4 more goals, the way we stand at the moment, if they're to keep their European campaign going. Sometimes pretty complicated working out all the constituent parts of an aggregate scoreline when you build in away goals as well.
All lifts and buts, Rob, but I think the word that for me that will have to sum up Celtic's second half performance is professionalism. Do the job properly, work hard, individually make sure you're aware of what's happening around about you.
And the last throw of the dice for Felix Magath sees Ganea, a striker, coming on for Dangelmeyer, the defender. He's played, probably won't miss him, mind you, at the back.
No, I think Soldo's going to play in the centre-back position now. And that's an extra forward on the field.
Hinkle trying to force his way through. Now with Gerber. Good running from Gleb, to keep that in, and great covering from Paul Lambert.
Gleb's very quick down that left-hand side. Paul Lambert matching the run there.
Heiko Gerber, whose cross brought about the Stuttgart goal. Hold-up work from Ganea. That's good defending from Neil Lennon. And as Celtic tried to release John Hartson, in the wake was Timo Wenzel. Amanatidis combining with Hinkle. And he plays in the cross straight to Rob Douglas.
It's a poor ball in. Should have played it with his left foot. He's coming back off the dead ball line. Easy one for the goalkeeper. But the Germans are certainly going to have a go to start the second half. Get lots of bodies forward. Really committing men in the forward areas.
And that might just give Celtic chances at the other end.
It's a perfect situation for Celtic to play in a counter-attack.
To be fair, every time Celtic have got forward, this defence, this Stuttgart defence, has not looked comfortable.
They haven't, and that's, as we say, that's the weakness. But it's a hard one for Martin O'Neill now. Does he really attack the game, or does he sit in and hold on to the advantage he's got? I wouldn't like Stuttgart to get the next goal, to be honest with you.
Join the club. Balakov prompting. Squares it for Tifferts, well off target. Managed to put the header in the back of the net in the first half, but he's disappointed with himself there.
It's a poor effort. He's got lots of time and space on the ball. That's the worrying aspect from Celtic's point of view. It's a poor shot, poor technique. Again, lifting his head and firing through the ball, but because his head's back the way, it's miles over the crossbar.
Hartson's flick finds Sutton. John Hartson losing possession in the end, doing his best to win it back. Kurani gives it away, and again distribution there from Balde not the best.
Celtic have to try and hold on to the ball. They've got to try and get a combination of passes linked through in the middle of the park up to the front area, and then try and play further up the park.
That's Laursen. So Soldo in central defence, as Sandy said, in this second half. Magat had to reshuffle, had to gamble. He has to get players forward, he has to create chances and get a goal or two back. That will be his plan, to raise hopes that a miracle might just be possible. Martin O'Neill won't want to go along with that script. Balakov looking for Ganea. Good interception, and Alan Thompson on the move. Good play from Thompson, gets a corner kick, tried to play it in for Hartson, needed to give it a little bit more.
Good play from Celtic, that's much better. You feel any time Celtic attack, they really do look as if the potential is there to get more goals. You've seen it there. If it's a better final ball from Alan Thompson, John Hartson was in.
Looks to be moving okay now, Alan Thompson. He was injured, of course, as Stuttgart scored. Petrov, Sutton tried to flick it back towards the Bulgaria. Hildebrand clears. That's Lennon, and that's Soldo. He was backing into Josef Haran. There was Kevin Kurani. Free kick to Celtic.
That's good refereeing. Useful. Haran took one in the face. I think it was actually Ganea that backed into, but the referee was a good bit away, but he spotted it nice and early.
Lambert, Hartson, Chris Sutton under the bouncing ball. That's a great effort on the right foot of Alan Thompson.
Good play from Celtic. The high ball forward from the free kick. John Hartson first of all getting a flick on. Sutton reading it, and good support play from Alan Thompson. That's his weaker foot, his right foot, but it's a decent effort. As opposed to that one.
And then there was that from Alexander Gleb, who was off balance as he tried to get the ball into the box.
I think Didier Agat put him under a lot of pressure as well there. Agat is so quick with his recovery. And Glenn knew he was coming. Probably could hear him closing him down. Panicked just a little bit.
I thought Alan Thompson's right foot normally had a slipper on it, but that was a terrific effort on his weaker side. Lambert up for the header. Gleb holding his face. Bobo Baldi. Ganea. Back to Balakov. Now Andreas Hinkel. Picks out Tiffert. Holds off the Thompson challenge. Still with the goal scorer, Tiffert. Played away by Laursen to Lennon. Couldn't keep it. Possession with the home team. Ganea couldn't turn away from Baldi.
The Germans are working really hard to get the ball back the way. It's their pride that's hurt as much as anything else. And they're working hard to try and salvage that.
Stuttgart pushing the ball around, lots of passes. No great penetration at the moment. Here's Balakov.
Lots of passes from the Germans, but they can't make any ground going forward. Celtic quite happy, quite content to get all the bodies behind the ball, denying them space, no openings to allow the Germans to create any opportunities near Rab Douglas.
Well, this tie has produced 7 goals so far. 5 for Celtic.
Without Henrik Larsson.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Surprised me a little bit. Celtic, they obviously rely on Henrik Larsson so much, but they've showed in the last 2 games in the UEFA Cup they're more than capable of playing well and scoring goals without him.
The goals have come against Felix Magat's team from Lambert, from Maloney, from Petrov last week, and from Thompson and Sutton this week.
Is that a scarf getting tighter?
No news is good news. And the facial expression there of Felix Magath really didn't need any words.
He'll feel frustrated, Rob, the fact that his 2 central defenders have missed the game. But that's the rules. You know, the red card at Celtic Park was absolutely right. And the yellow cards, I think it was 5 Miera had in total, including the Inter-Toto Cup. You can't get away with that either.
Lambert, industrious as ever. It's Stuttgart's 16th European tie of the season, having come through the Inter-Toto Cup competition when they beat the likes of Lokeren and Lille and Perugia. And they've beaten Bruges and Ferencvaros in this UEFA Cup campaign. So it's been a marathon for them in Europe this season. And well, it's looking as if that European run is coming to an end. That's Ganea. Diverts it towards Amanatidis. A high hanging cross. Not a problem for Rab Douglas. 10 minutes into the second half. Still 2-1 on the night. Still 5-2 overall.
Easy one for the goalkeeper. Well, the Germans probably have had more possession in Celtic's second half. Rab Douglas has been really not had an awful lot to do whatsoever.
Here's the young Greek striker, Amanatidis again. And the experienced Ganea, the Romanian. Foul goes against him. Laursen's free kick.
Just watching that free kick there, Rob, with the high ball played forward, you would normally expect Stilian Petrov to take a chance, go beyond the strikers for the flick on. But he sat in his midfield position, quite content to play there. Obviously instructions from the manager.
Good play from Valharen. John Hartson is fouled, free kick.
That's 3 in a row from Guinea.
All the noise is being made by the Celtic supporters, not surprisingly. There were meant to be less than 10,000 of them. I reckon it could be considerably more. Gleb under pressure, plays it back to Hildebrand. He gives it straight to Neil Lennon. Alan Thompson, that's a free kick in an interesting situation. Foul against Soto.
Good play from Thompson. You talk about man of the match contenders, Rob. There's been quite a few in Celtic colours tonight. Thompson certainly in there. Didier Agat's played very well. John Hartson's been involved in both goals.
You giving clues?
Just 1 or 2 or 3.
You have been known to change your mind at the last minute, mind you, I seem to recall.
Depends where his free kick ends up.
So every white shirt behind this. Alan Thompson and Stilian Petrov, the contenders. It's Thompson into the wall. Now Lennon for Agat. Sliding in was Heiko Gerber. Lennon plays it off Balakov. Thompson disappointed with his set-piece effort. 0900 10 225 for the man of the match competition, and the prize is a Freeview Digibox. .5 minutes gone in the second half, and the Celtic supporters trying to bring on the final whistle.
They're very content. It's not been a magnificent performance. Second half there's not been a lot happening, but their fans won't be concerned about that. It's all about qualifying for the next stage.
Good work from Petrov defensively and Lennon, but not the quality on the pass, which let in Alexander Gleb down the left side, and a good rescue mission there from Paul Lambert.
Paul Lambert's another one who's played well tonight.
Well, I see you're adding to the shortlist. Balakov squares it for Hinkle. A loose pass has Celtic on the counter-attack with John Hartson and Alan Thompson. In for Petrov. Recovered well there, Stilian Petrov, and it looked as if Ganea could have intercepted.
Celtic are obviously content not to score again, Rob. They're quite happy with the scoreline the way it stands, and you can understand that. That was a real opportunity to get forward in numbers, but quite happy to play the ball back the way Hartson played it forward to Thompson, Thompson back to Petrov, and it ended up in the back three.
Is there not a danger that Celtic play the game too far back?
Yeah, they are. They're certainly a little bit deep, and you know, from the viewer's point of view, you want to see them attacking and you know, create more opportunities and play good football. But the other aspect is, you know, you wouldn't like them to lose 1 or 2 goals and lose the game. So that's a catch-22. And at the end of the day, from Martin O'Neill's point of view, it's all about results. And the challenge was to qualify for the next stage.
How grumpy is Felix Magath?
Understandable.
He looks thoroughly cheesed. Not surprisingly, with his team 5-2 down in aggregate, losing at home, that doesn't happen too often in the Gottlieb Daimler Stadium. They've got a terrific home record. Lamberts caught on the ball by Kurani, the Brazilian-born German striker.
Hasn't looked good at all tonight, Kurani. Exceptionally good player at Celtic Park. We'll give him a little bit of leeway I think consistency because he's young. Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, great challenge by Agat, and Kevin Kurani just kicked him, which seems to have escaped the referee's notice.
Frustration, I think that'll be.
Gania hooks it on. Hesitation from Larson, and it ran through for Amanatidis. Good skill from him, but the cross ends up on the top of the net, deflected there. Corner.
Over Larson was out in the far side in the left back position. Amanatidis trying to put the ball into the box. Larson doing his job. Every Celtic player inside the box.
The left foot of Krasimir Balakov. Here's a chance for Gleb. Mishit the shot. It came off Gania. Bobo Balde towering above everyone to get it further away. And that's poor from Gerber. And the pressure is off Celtic.
Good defending from Celtic. When they've had to defend tonight, they've done exceptionally well, apart from a goal when Alan Thompson was off the pitch. But Bobo Balde, seen him there, so aggressive in the air. And Didier Agat closing down the full back, forcing him.
That black cloud over his head just won't go away. Felix Magath's a magical player if you're of a vintage, when you actually remember him playing for Hamburg in Germany. Won 43 caps for his country. Terrifically skillful player, wonderful left foot. Alan Thompson's not got a bad left foot either. Lennon, Sutton, and back to Larson. Hinkle prodded it away from Thompson. Now with Soldo, the Croatian. The home fans wanting the ball forward. Gania lays it off for Kurani, and the communication between those two has just not been there in the second half since they teamed up. Balakov not happy with the attentions of his fellow countryman Petrov. That's good backtracking from Thompson, and across came Ulrich Larsson as well. Off Amanatidis, Celtic's throw. Try shifting John Hartson off the ball. It's called Mission Impossible.
I love that, I must admit. I really respect the way that John Hartson plays the game. He's using his body, staying nice and solid, winning the free kick.
Another substitution about to happen for Stuttgart. Michael Mutzel is the player who's going to come on. And it's going to be the first half goal scorer, Christian Tiffert, is the player coming off. He's got to change something, Magat, because Stuttgart need to be creating chances and they aren't.
They haven't created anything second half, as we said. Rab Douglas has had it easy.
Thompson's free kick. Didier Agat, who's always going to be struggling to keep that in. Gerber. Kurani ends up on the running track.
Home fans looking for a free kick there, but just a good challenge from Yusuf Haran, nice and solid, win the ball fairly.
Hinkle's pass to Gania. That's a great challenge from Neil Lennon. Well, surely he got the ball. I didn't think so.
I think the referee said it's 2 feet. That's the earlier win from Yusuf Haran.
Exit Kevin Kurani. Exit stage right. Good play from Amanatidis. Shot blocked by Lennon. He's a tricky little player, the Greek.
That was good play from him. But again, you see the number of Celtic bodies inside the box back defending. They're desperate not to lose another goal. They want to make sure they win this match, and the way they're trying to do it is by defending in numbers. That was great play from Chris Sutton.
back doing a defensive shift. Laursson's clearance, hands it back to Wenzel. Lambert to Agat. Hearts on the target.
Good touch.
He's been practicing that one. Mutzel, the substitute, wanted a long time on the ball. Now with Hinkel. Amanatidis. Andreas Hinkel. Alexander Gleb for Heiko Gerber, and it's all going horribly wrong.
That's actually good play from Didier Agat. He's seen the danger, he recognised that Gleb was going to play the ball wide to Gerber, got there as quick as he can, put the player under pressure, made it difficult to pass the ball, eventually put too much weight on it, knocked it out for the goal kick.
We switch from UEFA Cup to Scottish Premier League on Sunday. Livingston against Rangers from 2:25, and also highlights of Celtic against Hibs in that programme. It's the only place to see Scottish Premier League football.
Could be an interesting weekend.
Just you keep your mind on this at the moment.
OK, boss.
Soldo for Ghanea. Balde recovers, and helping him out with Jos Valharen. Laurssson to Petrov, and he was fouled by Mutzel, and he hasn't taken long to pick up the yellow card.
Rightly so. You know, it's a pull back the way. Still in, Petrov has got beyond his opponent, and Mutzel just on the par, first involvement, and yellow card. It's an easy one for the referee. It's a pull back. The players, he's away. He's started to create an attack.
An early attempt at shirt swapping from Mutzel, and Jan Wigarev puts him in his book. Sutton the target for the free kick. Up went Ghanea. Lennon falls to the ground holding his head.
It's only Neil's head, he should be OK.
Yeah, it could have been serious, couldn't it?
I'm watching Neil there at the moment. He's complaining to the referee. I don't think he's getting a lot of joy though.
It's a funny old game this, isn't it, with big damage having been done inside the first 15 minutes by Celtic, and I guess from then on there is a big question about how you play it.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. You know, as we said before, it's all about qualifying. That's the objective. That's the only thing that really matters. You don't want to be glorious failures again. And you see it there, Celtic are just happy to get every player behind the ball to make life really difficult for the Germans, and not allowing them any chance to get any opportunities to create a chance inside the box, and eventually forcing the Germans into make mistakes like that.
It was Timo Wenzel who made the mistake. Never really looked comfortable, the centre-back. Does play a lot of his football at left-back. That's when he gets in the top team, and he hasn't done much of that this season. And that's played into Celtic's hands. A loose passing, the untidy play from Felix Magath's team. And that chewing gum is getting some treatment.
They keep showing them, don't they? Their German TV colleagues. Just wonder, Roll, if Martin O'Neill will think about a change. Sean Maloney played exceptionally well in the first game at Celtic Park. It'd be nice if he got on the field at some point.
Balakov. Gerber, great challenge from Didier Agat, who win it for Celtic. He's hurt, I think, in the process.
I think he hurt his arm.
It's taken on by Lambert. Back goes Gleb. And did pretty well. Lennon, Hartson, and now Petrov. Celtic inviting Stuttgart to come and get the ball. 25 second half minutes gone, 20 or so to go. It's still 2-1 Celtic in Stuttgart, and of course that's an aggregate of 5 goals to 2.
Celtic are quite content just to kill the game off. I think their fans will be quite happy at that as well.
Here's Ghanea. Kurani took his eye off it.
That's your fault. We praised him too much after last week.
It's not been his night, Kevin Kurani. After 2 goals at the weekend as well, and 1 at Celtic Park last Thursday. Balakov beaten by Lennon. Lennon and Lambert have been so important here to Celtic. Their stranglehold in central midfield. And Neil Lennon just passed that ball deep into Stuttgart territory and said, there you go, you can have it back there.
He couldn't do anything else, Rob. There was no players beyond Neil Lennon. The strikers were at the other end of the park. And obviously the wrong choice would have been to go back away.
It's funny, isn't it? 7 days ago, we were all obsessed with what the absence of Henrik Larsson would mean to Celtic. And here we are 5 goals later. And Celtic on the brink of the UEFA Cup quarter-finals. And who knows, Henrik might be back for the last 8.
Might not get a game.
Balakov trying everything to inspire Stuttgart. Tough job. Gerber, Gleb. Steps away from Agat. Good pass from Gleb to Amanatidis. Petrov and Baldi and Larsson managed to get it away.
Good defending again from Celtic. It might surprise me a little bit, Rob, the home fans. You know, if this is a game in Scotland, if it's at Celtic Park or Ibrox or anywhere else really, and your team are down at home having lost the first leg, I think there's a little bit of abuse would be going about.
Amanatidis looking for some room to get the cross in. Now it's Hinkle. The left foot of Balakov, good pass. Mutzel. Amanatidis, that's poor.
It's a poor ball. It's a shocking ball. Amanatidis has got lots of time there to take a touch, to look up, similar to Didi Agat in the first half for Celtic's second goal, but just play the ball in without looking. And it's a poor ball, couldn't beat the first man.
Balakov eyeing the penalty area, then whips it in at the near post. Played away by Petrov. Well, Celtic had a counter-attacking possibility there had Thompson not stepped on the ball. Hinkle, Soldo and Gleb. Neat little touch from Kurani, gets the break of the ball. Laid off for Gerber, good ball in for Ghanea, what a chance to get another goal back.
That's a good move from the Germans. It's the first time they've played a decent ball into the box apart from the goal. And it's a free header from Ghanea.
He's really got to hit the target, surely.
Yeah,
there.
you've got to get it on target. He's got time and space, and he's got over the top of the ball to get it down the way. It just puts too much on it.
And that's a little wake-up call to Celtic. Stuttgart far from finished.
The concern is the header 6-7 yards out, and not a Celtic player within a couple of yards of him.
He's scored a lot of goals at club level and international as well, Ghanea, and you really were expecting that to be in the back of the net. But it remains 2-1 to Celtic in Germany, where they've struggled to produce results over the years, and this one's set to go down in history as one of the finest. Against the team in the Bundesliga who have only Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich ahead of them. In goes Gleb. It's 2-2 and 5-3. Alexander Gleb lifts hopes with 15 minutes to go.
It's a good goal from the German point of view. Gleb's a decent player, we said that early on, powerful going forward. There are lots of boys round about the Celtic 18-yard box here. They all follow the ball. Nobody going with a runner, allowing Gleb time and space and composure. That's a good finish, Rad Douglas, no chance, low and hard underneath the goalkeeper, close enough to him that he can't get there. That touch off his backside. It's ball watching from the Celtic defender's point of view, not following the run.
Gleb's 8th goal of the season, 3 in this UEFA Cup competition, drove it in off Rab Douglas. The goalkeeper got himself in the way of it, but couldn't get quite enough behind the shot from Gleb, which deflected onwards and into the net. So it's 5-3 now. Here's where you have to do a little bit of head scratching, because 2 more goals from Stuttgart would make it 5-all. That, of course, would get Celtic through, still on away goals. So Stuttgart still left, needing 3 more goals. That may or may not be right. Man of the match, 0900 10-225. It's phoning only, and you can win a Freeview Digibox, which gives you the latest array of digital television channels. If your name is first out of the hat, and if you agree with Sandy's choice of man of the match.
Offside. The one thing, Rob, there won't be extra time. The 2 away goals from Celtic's point of view takes that away.
Heiko Gerber. Good challenge from Valharen. And Gerber struggling to keep that in. Wenzel. Here's Amanatidis lining up the shot. A terrific opportunity for Stuttgart to get ahead of the night. It was deflected wide.
Good play from the Germans. Amanatidis working the ball across the 18-yard box. Lots of bodies in the road to block the shot, but it's not a good spell for Celtic at the moment.
Balakov's corner kick. And another chance opening itself up with some poor marking. And just when you thought the Stuttgart fans had gone home, they've come back to life.
I think Martin Neal's got a slight problem now, Rob. The second half, the trend's been the same for the 35 minutes or so that we've played in the second half. It's Celtic sitting back, and it's very difficult to change that. It's difficult to suddenly play a different way and adapt to the whole situation. You could see a change from the Celtic bench soon, I'm sure.
Well, it's countdown. 12 minutes left, plus any stoppage time to be added. 2-2 on the night, and 5-3 overall. So from 2-0 down, Stuttgart have got it back to 2-all. Petrov to Thompson, whose header started the scoring here tonight. That was 12 minutes in. The diving header, and inside 3 minutes later on, Chris Sutton made it 2. But Tiffert in the first half and Gleb in the second have squared this second leg. Kurani's flick on, and that's good, strong defending from Bobo Baldi.
Good play from the Celtic.
Gania just bounced off him.
Change for the Germans.
Another switch coming up, and it's Jochen Seitz who comes on as replacement for Heiko Gerber. So it's another defender gives way. I think Jimmy Calder was in charge down there. Defenders coming off, attacking players coming on, but Felix Magath has no other option because the way things stand, his team heading out of the competition. Yeah,
really, they don't need any defenders the way Celtic are playing. They're really not getting enough bodies forward. They're not keeping the ball up the park. Apart from maybe the Alan Thompson shot early in the second half, the goalkeepers had very little to do. As we said before, it's all about the final result.
Zvonimir Soldo, the Stuttgart captain. Mutzel kept possession under pressure from Ulrich Larsson. Andreas Hinkel held up, manages to squeeze it in from the byline to Amanatidis. He tried to cut it back to Mutzel at the edge of the area. Stilian Petrov intercepted. That was so important. Michael Mutzel, useful cross. Kurani on the end of it. Balakov couldn't get the shot in at the edge of the box. Desperate stuff. Kurani's shot goes wide.
I think the referee's given a free kick in Celtic's favour on the edge of the box. The home fans not happy with that decision.
Celtic want to make a change.
Just a little nudge there from Guinea. Not his first in the match. He's had a decent game tonight, the referee.
Sean Maloney is going to be the player coming on for Celtic once the ball is dead. Didier Agat wasn't letting it out. Maybe a bit worried it was him coming off. It's out now though, and it's going to be Paul Lambert who will come off for Celtic. Gives the armband to Neil Lennon. And Lambert has performed admirably for Celtic over the two legs. And that's acknowledged by his manager as he comes off, and by the Celtic supporters. And Sean Maloney, who scored the second goal of the first leg, is back on the pitch.
I've got to say I'm a little bit surprised at that one, Rob. Thought Paul Lambert had performed well tonight. And his experience is important at this stage in the game. I thought it might be one of the strikers that have come off. But Chris Sutton's certainly now playing in midfield. He's played there almost the whole night anyway. But Sean Maloney, the one thing about him, he will certainly play up front to try and cause that man even more heartache.
I don't think you can take much more. But at least his side has hit back from 2-0 down to get it to 2-2, but they're left needing 3 goals to stay alive in Europe, and time is ticking away from them. Hudson back to Sutton, and that's out for a Stuttgart throw. The man of the match phone lines are now closed, and we'll get round to telling you who's won it very shortly. Probably once Sandy makes up his mind.
I've made my mind up, just not telling you at the moment.
Hildebrand to Balakov. Stuttgart thin at the back now as they commit players forward. Looking for another goal. It's Amanatidis, who finds no way past Petrov. Amanatidis again, played away by Larsson. Balakov's cross for Kurani. Good challenge by Jos Valharen. Just the sort of challenge he would like to have got in against him 7 days ago, when of course Kurani gives Stuttgart the lead. Gleb's cross. Lennon's header away. Now Agat. He's lost it. Alexander Gleb darting into the penalty box, and just a fraction away from 3-2 on the night. A bad mistake by Didier Agat. Terrible lapse in concentration, and it could so easily have been Stuttgart in front here.
This is a break from Celtic's point of view. Good shot from Gleb, good run again, similar to the goal, similar area. Decent shot again, Rad Douglas well beaten, but off the inside of the post and away.
It really rattled the upright, that shot from Gleb. But now Celtic counter with Sean Maloney. Good challenge by Soldo. He's nearly twice his age.
That's a great challenge. So important. Maloney was all the way through the goalkeeper if he misstained that.
Maloney again settles for the throw. And if that had gone in from Gleb, the German side would have had 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes to get another 2.
Martin Hill won't want to lose this game, Rob. They've played well. They haven't played well. They've done the job exceptionally well tonight, without playing as well as they have in, say, the first leg. But it's all about pride again, as we said, and they've managed to do enough to win the match, as long as they continue doing well in the closing stages.
That's a miss by Agat, and now the chance for Seitz. Balde on the end of his cutback heads it away. Didier Agat seems to have switched off. Terrific scenes around the ground, but here's a chance for Stuttgart, looking for a penalty kick. McLean turned down.
I don't think it was a penalty. And Guinea, he's been involved in quite a few incidents. That's only 50-50 there. Bobo Baldé hasn't moved his arm, but for me, he's so many free kicks against him during this match. I think the referee didn't do many favours there on saying that. I don't think it was a penalty anyway.
Might also have been outside the box, I think. But it looks like right at the edge of the area. Celtic will make another change. Chris Sutton, who dropped off into midfield, now comes off, and Jackie McNamara slots in.
I seen Chris Sutton stretching his hamstring a few seconds ago there. Maybe a slight problem there. There's no point taking any chances now.
Here's Gleb. Lovely pass. Mutsal. 3-2 Stuttgart. 5-4 on aggregate.
It's a bad goal from Celtic's point of view. An enormous gap in the middle of the park, middle of the Celtic defence. It's a simple pass through. And it's a good finish. Acres of space for the substitute, and it's a good composed finish underneath the goalkeeper, low and hard.
And they're racing towards Rob Douglas again at the rate of knots. And we could be in for a twitchy couple of minutes between now and the full-time whistle.
No, I think it's a price Celtic are paying for sitting back for so long. The chance was there to go and finish the game off, and they've elected to defend.
Here's Alexander Gleb again, who's running Celtic ragged at the moment. They've allowed him the room to play, and he's accepted the opportunities. Here he is again. Amanatidis into the penalty box. Played away by McNamara. This is like Custer's last stand in the penalty box. And Celtic getting very twitchy. And Felix Magath, Stuttgart, have been lifted considerably and now beginning to see possibilities.
There's a lot of nervy players out there now. They've got to hold their nerve, they've got to be composed and see it through.
Malakov's corner kick headed away by Thompson. It's heading back into the box. Amanatidis linking with Hinkle. And it's not the way Celtic would have wanted to have ended the game.
No, it's so disappointed from their point of view. Managing to do so well, get 2 goals in front.
Agat's pounding away with the ball. Terrific run from Didier Agat. Looked in the middle, saw very little happening, realised he had to try and keep the ball. Free kick given against the challenge on Agat.
That's great play from Didier Agat. He's played exceptionally well tonight. He's a frustrated man now, Martin. He knows Celtic should be leaving Germany with a victory. It looks as if they're going to lose the game, but that man Didier Agat, we've seen him forge it up the right hand side there. He's played exceptionally well tonight. I'm looking for contenders. I was looking earlier on for man of the match, and I'm going to give it to Didier Agat for his overall performance. 1 or 2 mistakes towards the end, but his involvement in the second goal was crucial, and that little run there might just have killed the game.
An agitated Martin O'Neill, who's seen his team put under a bit of pressure at the tail end of this match, having been so far ahead in terms of the overall standings. That's Larison, and it just needs a little bit of composure from Celtic, which has been lacking in the last while. But Stuttgart can't get the ball through when they had the chance. Now Petrov trying to hurdle challenges. It's a free kick. We've played 90 minutes, 3 to go.
Keep it along, 3 minutes.
Stuttgart need 2 goals.
I can't help feeling that Celtic have brought this on themselves, Rob, second half. They really made no effort at all to get forward, encouraging the Germans to come on top of them, and eventually they got the breaks to get in front.
Who was it who said attack was the best form of defence? Gleb's pass releases sights. Great challenge by the man of the match.
He had to get there, had to time it properly. He was inside the box.
Jochen Seitz looking to get it back here. Does so now. Balakov. Through goes Wenzel, good challenge from Neil Lennon to stop him. Now it's Sean Maloney. He's off. But it's a Stuttgart throw.
He couldn't pass the ball forward again, Rob. Nobody there. I'm watching John Hartson at the moment. He's out on his feet. He's walking and no more.
We're in the 2nd minute of stoppage time. Kurani's header knocks it back for Seitz. It fell behind him. He couldn't get the shot in on goal. This is an incredible ending, just when Celtic looked so comfortable.
It's so unnecessary, and that's another opportunity. Neil Lennon, it was that time that closed Seitz down before he could get the shot on target. The last 10 minutes or so of certainly the downside of the game from Celtic's point of view.
Not too much more than a minute left of this amazing match. 5 goals tonight, 9 goals overall. Sean Maloney content to keep the ball. And wins a free kick as well, which is an added bonus.
That's great play from the youngster. It'd have been easy just to drive in and goal there and try and take advantage, but just kill the game, win the free kick, and I'm sure Celtic will take it short again.
Agatz and Maloney exchanging passes. Now Thompson. Sean Maloney again, all the way back, just about, to Rob Douglas. Just about 10 seconds short of the 3 extra minutes. Wenzel plays it forward, Lennon plays it away. Full time in Stuttgart. Celtic are through to the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup. 2 goals up inside 15 minutes. They ended up losing the second leg by 3 goals to 2. 5-4 overall, and Martin O'Neill guides Celtic into the last 8 of this UEFA Cup competition, having beaten Blackburn Rovers, then at Celta Vigo, now Stuttgart. It wasn't enjoyable viewing for the last 15 or 20 minutes, but the important outcome has Celtic through on a 5-4 aggregate. Lambert, Maloney and Petrov in a 3-1 first leg win. Kevin Kurani scored, of course, for Stuttgart. And then that incredible opening quarter of an hour here when first Alan Thompson, then Chris Sutton scored. And despite goals from Tiffert and Gleb and Mutzel, it's Celtic who go through to play Liverpool or Auxerre in the last 8 of the UEFA Cup.
Scottish teams never do it the easy way. For the last 50 minutes we watched the clock instead of the match, but in the end they got their God, and that's all that matters.
There's a bottom line in football, and it is winning, and in cup football it's getting through. That's it.
Yep.
Celtic have scraped through on the balance of that, but you know, overall they did the job right at home. They got a 2-goal lead. They went 2-0 up away from home. You couldn't fault them in anything. But they weren't in that second half. I don't want to be disingenuous to them at all, because you got to say, well done, they're through to the next round.
Yeah.
But
and it is difficult, Paul, isn't it? When you're in that side, the game's won, the tie's over. Let's just play out 45 minutes. It's never that easy.
It's a hard one to go. I mean, the start of the second half, the onus now is on Stuttgart to come out and play and impose themselves. Celtic were defending deep, inviting pressure, and I didn't think they were sort of too ambitious breaking forward. All of a sudden, Stuttgart's raised their game. You know, Hilep, I thought, was outstanding in the second half. Made things happen, and it was too little too late with Stuttgart. Why didn't they start the second half with that same tempo and be more forceful and impose themselves? They didn't. And there's lessons to be learned, there's no question about that, and I think Martin O'Neill will remind his players of that. But you've got to turn and say, if we take an overview now, which is really what it's about at the end of the day, magnificent result at Blackburn, top Premiership side, Celta Vigo, top Spanish side. OK, I wanted Celtic to win that game. You could have gone into Germany, into the Lions Den, because they're a very, very good side. Stuttgart could have won the game, and that would be disappointing, 2-0 up, and allow them to get back into the game. And the manner of it. The bottom line is this, as Gordon said, if you're a manager, I want to be in the quarter-finals. That's the bottom line, and that's what's been achieved. And that's wonderful and great for Scottish football, by the way. Great result for Scottish football.
It's a terrific result to have them through, but it shows the difficulty of trying to play a way that you're not used to playing in domestic football. Try and defend. Celtic don't do that. They don't sit in their own half and play like that.
No.
They never pass the ball.
They're not required to.
They never pass the ball. They never attack.
If they would have gone out and attacked them and been ambitious, they could have scored goals. There was no doubt about that.
Let's see the goals, fellas, before we go. It's a wonderful result for Celtic. Even on the night, 2 goals in the first 15 minutes, 2 in a 3-minute spell, and both wonderfully worked goals. And this really is the point at which Celtic made sure they were in the last 8.
Well, this man was outstanding, wasn't he? I mean, Thompson worked wonderfully well all evening, up and down the pitch, good quality into the box. But Agat was the end product. I mean, he was brilliant in possession, his work on the ball, off the ball, defending, tracking back. A great athlete, and it was a tremendous start, and it was a wonderful way to start the game.
Look how far back the second goal starts.
It's a terrific move. As I said before, at half-time, the thing to watch here is John Hartson. Stilian Petrov's offside. He's made a great run. Hartson doesn't give him it, but Petrov comes back into here with the little 1-2. Agat shows fantastic pace here. This is blistering pace.
Oh, I mean, I think the defender there he wouldn't have got back even if he had a taxi, would he? Let's be fair.
And then Sutton's positioning, just terrific striking ability there, wasn't it? He made the angle for himself, checked his run, and just stroked it into the empty net. And let's not underestimate Sutton's
It's a great goal, wouldn't it?
Look
at the defenders. He's lost his defender, hasn't he? Lost the marker, and that's food and drink to a man of his quality.
Absolutely brilliant. But there's no doubt Celtic, they all lit the proverbial winning cigar at that point, because to be 2-0 up away from home with 3-1 lead, that was it as far as I could say. We all believed it ourselves. It's turned out to be the case, but Celtic went to sleep. This goal was, I think, because they were down to 10 men, though. I don't think there's any doubt. They didn't adjust.
Was out of the game.
They didn't adjust to it. They didn't take account of the fact he wasn't there and nobody covered. But look where Celtic are sitting now at this stage of the game. Look where they are
defending that.
Very little happened
in the second half until this goal, which was after 75 minutes or thereabouts. And
that's a bad goal, Dougie. Lapse in concentration, allowing markers to run off. You're not tracking people. Midfield players there, ball watching, and I think that'd be the annoying factor. I mean, Hileb does wonderfully well here. And that's a wonderful give and go. Continues his run, does all the right things, and it takes it beautifully in his stride. Looks up, sees the keeper. Great finish, no question about that. But could have been avoided.
And after that, Agat, who was rightly the man of the match, made a mistake. Gleb got in and hit the post. And we thought, well, that was a nasty moment. And then with just 3 minutes left, this happened. Mutzel, the substitute.
Look at the gap here. What's this? This pass goes through the middle. I mean, look at that.
Shouldn't happen, should it? That
should never happen when you're sitting back anyway. You get everybody back, and yet there's still a huge gap develops there. I just think Celtic switched off.
I don't think you can be too critical of Celtic for switching off a little bit.
No, but they've switched off because it was going to be so hard for Stuttgart to come back. Celtic had done the business already. But if they'd kept going, and I agree with Paul, I think if Celtic had played their normal game tonight, I think they would have won that game.
Absolutely. They would, and it's just disappointing they couldn't win
under
tonight,
any pressure. A makeshift
said,
defence. In the second half, they didn't give them one problem, but they're through, and it's a fantastic result, as Paul said.
First time they've been in the last 8 in a European competition since 1980, which is fantastic. It's still 0-0 at Anfield, Paul. We'd like it to be Liverpool, wouldn't we?
Oh, it'd be terrific. And also, I think Celtic will be playing them at the right time. As I said, they're low in confidence, and what a great game for England. I mean, I call it, Battle of Britain Mark II, isn't it? If it happens. If it happens.
Let's hope so. All right, it's the man of the match, who was Didier Agat, and it was Craig Miller, who's not from Edinburgh, but from Fife. Well done, Craig, and you've won yourself that Freeview Digibox. Now, scorelines around Europe tonight and the other UEFA Cup 4th round ties. AEK Athens 0, Malaga 1. That was a 7:15 kick-off. Malaga looking good there. Anderlecht 0, Panathinaikos 0. Panathinaikos 3-0 up, of course. Besiktas are through, 4-3 in aggregate against Slavia. Boavista Hertha Berlin is a late kick-off, 8:30. It's only just underway. Denizlispor and Porto, well, that's a foregone conclusion, really, we would imagine. Liverpool and Auxerre, as we said, is still goalless. Stuttgart 3, Celtic 2. Celtic go through, though, and the Wisla Krakow-Lazio match was off because of a frozen pitch. And don't forget that at this very moment on BBC One, it's Liverpool against Auxerre, so you can catch up on what's been happening there. It's about halfway through the first half. We, of course, though, are back on Saturday. Our usual comprehensive roundup of the day's football. We'll be previewing at 12:10, football latest around